Simple epithelium. Let's start with the simple epithelium. As we said, epithelial tissue is composed of the two types of epithelium, simple epithelium, compound or stratified epithelium. In that, the first one, simple epithelium. In simple epithelium, the simple epithelium is composed of a single layer of cell and form the lining, single layer of cell. That first of all, let me show you the basement membrane, and above on the basement membrane, a single layer of cells are present. What do you say? That as simple epithelium. Okay, so where do you see here? The simple epithelium, lining of body cavities, ducts, and vessels. What is the function? It helps in diffusion, absorption, filtration, and secretion of the substances. Every word has their own meaning. We're going to get in human physiology. Like diffusion. Diffusion means diffusion of gases in the lungs. Absorption. Absorption of water in the nephron. Absorption of the food in the intestine. Filtration. Filtration of the substances in the nephron of the kidney. So likewise, every word have their own meaning. Just you need to remember the functions in first year. That's all. Diffusion, absorption, filtration, and secretion of substances. On the basis of the shape of the cell, this is the basis. On the basis of the shape of the cell, that further divided into three types. Simple squamous epithelium, simple cuboidal epithelium. Simple squamous epithelium, simple cuboidal epithelium, and simple columnar epithelium. Simple columnar epithelium further classified into simple ciliated columnar epithelium, simple non-ciliated columnar epithelium. So let us see one after another. Simple squamous epithelium. Excuse me. Simple squamous epithelium. What is simple squamous epithelium? First of all, we need to draw the basement membrane. Basement membrane with two layers, basal lamina, radicular lamina as usual. And then after that, how does the cells are present? A single layer of flat and tile-like cells. That flat and tile-like cells, we can see here. Arrangement of the cells like the tiles of floor. So if you see the three-dimensional diagram, that is, if you see two dimension, flat tile-like cells we can see. Each with a centrally located ovoid nucleus. It is found in the example. Just here, structure is a single line. What do you say? Flat tile-like cells lies on basement membrane with ovoid nucleus. Basement membrane. Okay, that's it. That is simple squamous epithelium. Pavement epithelium, we can say, because the cells are arranged like the tiles of floor. Examples. Endothelium of blood vessel. Endothelium of blood vessel. Mesothelium of body cavities like pleura, peritoneal layers, pericardial layers. Likewise. Wall of Bowman's capsule of nephron. Lining of alveoli of lungs. Wall of Bowman's capsule of nephron and lining of alveoli of lungs. Okay. So that's it. Endothelium of blood vessel, mesothelium of body cavities like pleura, peritoneal, and pericardial layers, wall of the Bowman's capsule of nephron, and lining of alveoli of lungs. Next, simple cuboidal epithelium. Simple cuboidal epithelium. What do you say? The cube-like cells. That means on above, first of all, let me write that, draw the basement membrane. On above the basement membrane, cube-like cells are present. Cells are cube-like with centrally located spherical nucleus. Earlier is ovoid nucleus and this is spherical nucleus. Where do you find this? It is found in the germinal epithelium, proximal and distal convoluted tubule of nephron, and cuboidal epithelium of the proximal convoluted tubule of nephron. Here, this is the Bowman's capsule, which we said now. Bowman's capsule is composed of simple squamous epithelium, then proximal convoluted tubule. In case of proximal convoluted tubule, simple cuboidal epithelium is present. What is the speciality particularly for simple cuboidal epithelium? It is having brush border, that microvilli, brush border we can say. If you see, their cells are having microvilli. For what? To absorb the more water, to increase the area of absorption of water. Okay, finally, examples. Germinal epithelium, proximal and distal convoluted tubule of nephron, and particularly the cuboidal epithelium of the proximal convoluted tubule of the nephron has microvilli. Then let's talk about simple columnar epithelium. As usual, the basement membrane, first of all, the basement membrane. So let me draw the basement membrane. Let us use red. Okay, so above on this basement membrane with basal lamina, reticular lamina, column-like cells are present like this. Single row of cell, that's why we said simple column-like cells, which their nuclei are going to be located at the base. That composed of single layer of the tall, slender cells with oval nuclei that are located near the base. I draw near the base. Okay, it has the mucus containing goblet cells in some places, not all the way, for not all. Mucus containing goblet cells are present in between. Some mucus containing goblet cells. Okay, so here based upon the presence of free surface, we know, we already said this is the free surface. At free surface based on the presence of cilia, we classify that simple columnar epithelium into ciliated columnar and non-ciliated columnar. Both you can see in the diagram. This is the ciliated columnar epithelium. The free surface is having cilia. Okay, the columnar epithelial cells have cilia on their free surface. So these are all the cilia. So just showing here, just showing. All these are the cilia. Free surface is having cilia, mainly present in the inner surface of the hollow organs like fallopian tube. Fallopian tube is a female reproductive tract. We say oviduct. Then ventricles of the brain that we said earlier, that hollow cavity of the brain is called ventricle. We have some names, paracele, diacele, metacele, likewise. We're going to learn that in second year. So, the ventricles are brain, the hollow cavities of the brain. You just remember like the first year. Central canal of the spinal cord. Central canal of the spinal cord. All they have spinal cord. In the center of spinal cord, this is the brain. The continuation of the brain is spinal cord. So that central canal of the spinal cord, bronchioles, that part of lung, that all having ciliated columnar epithelium. So fallopian tube, ventricles of brain, central canal of spinal cord, and bronchioles are with the ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay. Did you observe that air passages? Air passages, who is the air passage here? Bronchiole. Fluid filled cavities and genital ducts. Fluid filled cavities. Who is the fluid filled cavity? Ventricles of brain and central canal of the spinal cord. Or fluid filled cavity. Genital duct. Who is the genital duct? Fallopian tube is the genital duct. Are usually lined with simple columnar ciliated epithelium. Why? Bigger question. That if you take the brain, that I'm going to draw the hypothetical diagram when I'm saying brain. So just don't imagine that completely brain look like the same, but at least I'm trying to show you the ventricles like rhinocele, paracele, diacele, then myelocele, and central canal of the spinal cord. Okay, so this is inside the brain. Okay, so what we said now, what we said, these ventricles of the brain is with ciliated columnar epithelium. So they asked the question, fluid filled cavity. This is actually fluid filled cavity. The total ventricles of the brain and central canal of the spinal cord is a fluid-filled cavity. So in this cavity, ciliated columnar epithelium is present. Why? Why they are asking? Why? Because this fluid need to move. The movement of the fluid is possible by the cilia. So that's why here ciliated epithelium is present. Okay, so we got answer for this. The fluid-filled cavities are lined with ciliated columnar epithelium. That means I said ventricles of brain and central canal of the spinal cord is having the fluid-filled cavity. That fluid need to move in case of human being. Okay, why it need to move? What is the advantage of the movement? That all we'll discuss in say that neural control and coordination chapter in second year. Okay, then air passages. Air passages, we are talking about bronchioles. Air passages containing cilia. That's so simple. Why? That is to prevent the entry of dust particles. If cilia present, they push the dust particles out. So that's why bronchioles are with ciliated. Air passages is over. Who is that? Genital ducts. Genital ducts. Talking about fallopian tube. This is a pair of ovaries, oviduct, that infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus. You that no no I am not now here I am not going to explain the total female reproductive system here. Just showing here. This is the area fallopian tube which contains ciliated columnar epithelium. So why they have? That's so simple to move the ovum towards the fallopian tube. That means for the movement of gametes we can use the word here. So in genital ducts, why it is present means in case of fallopian tube, the second ovum for the movement of ovum we can see. Ovum is called generally secondary oocyte. Why it is called like that? We'll discuss in reproduction chapter. Okay, so that now what we need to do, everything we are discussing in second year, what we need to do, we need to remember the exam. That is very important. Okay, non-ciliated columnar epithelium. In case of stomach, in intestine, in the stomach and in the intestine, the epithelial layer is with what? Is with non-ciliated columnar epithelium found in the lining of stomach and intestine. The microvilli are present in the columnar epithelium of the intestine. Intestine is having basically microvilli. That microvilli of the intestine increases the surface area for absorption of the digested food material. Okay, so that's it about the non-ciliated columnar epithelium. So finally, that we say here the structure and example. Structure and example. So let's see here the structure in case of simple squamous epithelium, that anatomical issue. The cells are arranged like flat and tile-like cells, centrally located ovoid nucleus. Then found in endothelium of okay, that leave it simple cuboid. Single layer of cube-like cells with centrally located spherical nuclei. Then columnar cells, single layer of tall and slender cells with oval nuclei located near the base. Some has goblet cells in mucus secreting goblet cells are present in some. Next, ciliated columnar, that free surface of the cells containing cilia. Non-ciliated columnar, free surface is without cilia. That's it. Some structure is simple. Okay, tile-like cell, squamous, cube-like cell, cuboidal, tall, slender cell, column. What left? Examples. Endothelium of the blood vessel, mesothelium of body cavities like pleura, peritoneum, and pericardium, wall of Bowman's capsule of nephron, lining of alveoli of lungs are examples for simple squamous epithelium. Then, the proximal convoluted tubule of the nephron, distal convoluted tubule of the nephron, germinal epithelium are the example for simple cuboidal epithelium. Then fallopian tube, ventricles of brain, central canal of the spinal cord, bronchioles are the examples for ciliated columnar epithelium. Non-ciliated columnar epithelium include the lining of stomach and intestine. That if you read in that way, that you may not get. So that's why I'm suggesting after all reading that, come back here, you come back here, you try to answer this particular worksheet. endothelium of blood vessel, simple squamous epithelium. That in the reverse manner, example manner, endothelium of blood vessel, simple squamous epithelium, germinal epithelium, simple cuboidal. If you are able to answer, I am requesting you to answer. Lining of stomach and intestine.
Simple
Simple
non-ciliated
non-ciliated
columnar
columnar
Very
epithelium.
good.
epithelium.
Simple non-ciliated columnar epithelium. Fallopian tube.
Simple
Simple
ciliated
ciliated
columnar
columnar
epithelium.
Yeah,
Columnar
epithelium.
epithelium.
simple ciliated columnar epithelium. Ventricles of brain.
Simple
Simple
ciliated
ciliated
Separate
columnar
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 epithelium.
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 Simple ciliated columnar epithelium. Mesothelium of body cavity.
Simple
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 squamous
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 epithelium.
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 Yeah, very good. Simple squamous epithelium. Simple squamous epithelium. Proximal convoluted tubule of nephron.
Simple
Simple
cuboidal
cuboidal
epithelium.
epithelium.
Cuboidal epithelium. Is there any speciality? Having brush border, simple cuboidal epithelial cells of the proximal convoluted tubules are having the microvilli here. The cells are having microvilli like this. Microvilli are present here. That is to absorb the more water. Don't be confused with stomach and intestine. There also microvilli are present, but they absorb food material in intestine. Here they absorb the water. Okay, central canal of the spinal cord.
Simple ciliated
Simple
columnar
ciliated
epithelium.
columnar
Simple
epithelium.
ciliated columnar epithelium. Inner lining of alveoli.
Simple
Simple
squamous
squamous
epithelium.
epithelium.
Very good. Simple squamous epithelium. Wall of Bowman's capsule.
Simple
Simple
squamous
squamous
epithelium.
epithelium.
Wall of Bowman's capsule. Simple
Simple
squamous
squamous
epithelium.
epithelium.
Okay, branchiole.
Simple
Simple ciliated
ciliated
columnar
columnar
epithelium.
epithelium.
Simple ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay, that's it. Till that time, okay. Then we continue with the compound epithelium. Then these are all examples for simple epithelium. Okay, so need
Sorry,
to
sir.
practice here. Need to practice. Continuous practice of this is required.